ladies and gentlemen, the most massivest real rush ever! Bang your head to the opening riff. Woo! What's happening, y'all? It's your boy J-Dub here with the Real Rush, and thank y'all for tuning in to episode 8. Excuse me, episode 7. I'm so hyped I got ahead by a week. What we do? We fell back an hour last week, and now I'm already fast forwarding a week this week because, trying to make up for some lost time or whatever. You're gonna have to excuse me, y'all. I just came off of that's where I got the 8 from, because I just came off of my biggest weekend ever of seeing movies in the theater. I just came off of a weekend of seeing 8 movies in the theater, which beats my previous personal and now Real Rush record of 7 movies in the theater in one weekend. That was between Thursday night and just a couple hours ago. So, what did I see a couple hours ago? Rewind. Oh, that's what happened a couple hours ago. So this might be also a case study in what happens when one is subjected to movie theater screenings on a much often basis. Maybe too much of a basis? No, never too much of a basis. But we slamming fresh right off the Grinch, y'all, so we gonna go a little bit out of order than what we usually do. Instead of going the way that the movies were received into my brain, we gonna go ahead and kick off with the Grinch. Since I just came off that joint, I technically just got off 2 weekends on tour. I'm undisputed movie champion, at least of the DC metro area, and I want to start off with the Grinch right now. Now, the Grinch. It's the CGI adaptation of the Dr. Seuss kids story classic. This one has Benedict Cumberbatch voicing the titular character. Titular character? The title character. That's the safer way to say it. This one gets some good laughs. It's probably the best family film out there right now. And I don't really think that there's too much to go into explanation into the Grinch, because everybody's seen the classic special, The Grinch. This one is not better than the original, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's still pretty good. I've never seen the Jim Carrey version. I might give that a view one of these days. But like I said, this one's probably the best family film out right now. I saw it in IMAX just a couple hours ago. The animation in it is pretty fantastic. So go ahead, round up kids, go see the Grinch, see it in IMAX if you like to. I believe it's also playing in Dolby Cinema. I've never been to a Dolby Cinema. I would like to go to a Dolby Cinema where it's a little bit more crisper image and more immersive, I believe. But whatever your fancy, take your family, go see the Grinch. Love J-Dub. Next up on the Real Rush ticket, the new action horror film, Overlord. This one is about some American paratroopers in France the night before D-Day occurs. They must destroy a radio tower, but along the way of doing so, they come across some Nazi experiments on people to perfect the perfect super soldier. That's right. It sounds like some B-movie shit all the way, but it's A-movie grade all the way, ladies and gents. It's the best original horror film in a while, and it's got a great blend of action and horror, action comedy and horror. It is done by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot Productions, so I would expect nothing less. It pays a lot of film-style homage to the WW2 era, since that is when this takes place, D-Day, June 6, 1944. It kind of had a Thing feel to it. John Carpenter's The Thing. It kind of had a little bit of a feel like that to it, which in itself is ironic because one of the leading stars of this film is Wyatt Russell. That's right, Kurt's boy. He's in it, and he's following in his daddy's badass footsteps, y'all. You want to go see Overlord? This is another one that I saw in IMAX. This is the one that I saw in the Thursday night premiere a couple nights ago. Go see it in the highest quality possible. You should not be disappointed. It is good action, horror, fun. Overlord. Vinnie Mac, you agree?
Yes. I agree, J-Dub.
Trying to make sure he doesn't fire my ass, you know what I'm saying? Don't want Vinnie Mac to say you're fired. Matter of fact, if Vinnie Mac, if you ever, having a look at this, if you want to hire a brother, I think I got some on-camera charisma that you might need. Might be a little bit better than the talent you got these days. Who said that? Who said that? I don't know what that was. Maybe that was the girl in the spider's web. Nah, it wasn't Lisbeth Salander. But the next movie up on the Real Rush ticket is The Girl in the Spider's Web. This is the continuation in the Dragon Tattoo saga. And this time we got Claire Foy in the role of hacker Lisbeth Salander. And this time she's gotten caught up in a scandal involving world missile control, which equals world domination. The action's on point in this one. The screenplay's pretty good. It's a little bit easier to follow than the Fincher original. I actually just saw the original David Fincher, the girl with the dragon tattoo, just a few weeks ago, so I could get all caught up on this one. And that actually became one of my instant Fincher favorite movies. Though this one's easier to follow than the original, it is no way better than the original. That still goes to Dragon Tattoo. Though Foy does hold it down as Salander, y'all. It does help having seen Fincher's Dragon Tattoo. I haven't seen any of the original Swedish versions of it. I would like to view those at some point down the road as well. Fincher does still produce this one, so you can kind of still see a little bit of his touch in it. And it's directed by Fede Alvarez, the guy who directed 2016's best horror film, Don't Breathe. So yeah, Girl in the Spider's Web, go check this out. Especially if you're already a fan of the series, I think that this one will not disappoint you either. Moving right along on the Real Rush ticket, let's go into our Friday Night Angelica selections. Now I'm going to go a little bit out of order with these as well. We're going to kick things off Friday Night Angelica's Real Rush ticket. Boy Erased. Now this is based on Gerard Conley's memoir, which stars Lucas Hedges as Gerard Conley's character as a homosexual teen who is forced to attend a gay conversion therapy program by his deeply religious parents, played by Russell Crowe and Nicole Kidman. Now, this therapy program, the goings-on at this program are cruel and heinous. They're led by Joel Edgerton, who also directs this film. He's a mastermind behind the camera as well. And they're not allowed to tell anybody about what's going on behind the walls here. So, with that part being said, it's sobering. Boy Erased is eye-opening. It's hard-hitting. There's perfect performances by Lucas Hedges, who got a Best Supporting Actor nomination for Manchester by the Sea just a couple years ago. Russell Crowe, a Best Actor winner in his own right, and Nicole Kidman, a Best Actress winner in her own right, as well as by Joel Edgerton. Like I said, a mastermind behind the camera, as well as on the film. That man can just about play any character. If I was going to go with a pick of the week this week, which I'm not, and I'll tell you why later on, I would probably go with Boy Erased. But, given this week's wide spectrum, and like I said, I'll elaborate a little bit later on, let's just say, Boy Erased, this is one that you must see. It's this week's must see. It's not my pick of the week. I'm saying it's my must see. It's probably the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I drank too much Pepsi. But it is in currently limited release. It should be going into wider release pretty soon. See it ASAP. Boy Erased, y'all. Don't miss it. Next up on our Friday Night Angelica Real Rush ticket, A Private War. Now this stars Rosamund Pike as war correspondent Marie Colvin, and this tells her story, her true story, tells her life story after the time that she lost her eye in a grenade explosion, and from then on after. How she dealt with both being addicted, yet disgusted by the wars that she's compelled to actually go into the war trenches and to report from live on, get eyewitness accounts and stuff. But also how she dealt with the PTSD that came with doing such things. And it's a really, really good story. This is a story that I really didn't know about too much of before seeing it either. It's kind of jumpy at times with the narrative, but it's not too terribly hard to follow. And of course, Rosamund Pike, everything that she's touched in the last couple of years has absolutely just turned to gold. This one is no exception. So she puts on a pretty enthralling performance there. Does Miss Rosamund Pike? There's a song that plays during the ending credits that's called "Requiem for a Private War," sung by the one and only Annie Lennox. And just the way that it hit me, and the way that it sounded like something that could be performed as an Oscar song. So, if this gets any type of awards attention, most certainly best song, and Miss Rosamund Pike as well, you don't want to miss this Charlize Theron production. That's a Private War, y'all. And next up, I should say last up on the Friday Night Angelica side of the Real Rush ticket, this year's South Korean entry for Best Foreign Language Film into the upcoming Academy Awards this February, Burning. Now, Burning tells the story of a young man who is a struggling and socially awkward writer who runs into a girl that he grew up with back in the day. They hit it off, and she asks for him to take care of her cat while she goes away for a couple of days or a week or so, however long. And things get even more awkward when she shows back up with another man. And this man is played by Steven Yeun, known to the Walking Dead fans as Glenn. And I wanted to say something right there, but I don't want to give away any spoilers. I know what happens, even though I haven't watched The Walking Dead in years, but I know what happened because other people don't know how to keep their mouth shut. Yet I digress. But yes, he plays a very Gatsby-like character that makes the main character, Jong-soo, very uncomfortable. And this spells out for a compelling mystery and somewhat of a dark comedy, if you ask me. At least that's how it came off to me, yo. As compelling as it was, I was somewhat confused by the ending. But the more and more I think about the ending itself, it seems more open to interpretation. So you can most certainly take it however you like. I definitely recommend checking it out. I mean, it didn't get nominated or it didn't get picked as the official South Korean entry for Best Foreign Language Film Oscar-wise for no reason. I would most certainly check it out. It's currently in limited release. Might get a wider release more towards award season if it gets more attention. So you want to make sure that you give these kind of movies the proper love, ladies and gents. Do beware, it is about 2.5 hours and it's all English subtitled for 99.7% of the 2.5 hours. I saw it as the last movie on Friday night. That sounds pretty difficult, but hey, Undisputed Movie Champion, your boy J-Dub can take on anything. It's stuff like that. Got some practice. Burning. Check it out. And speaking of burning, that moves us right along to the next movie on the Real Rush ticket. And it's a movie called Wildfire. This takes place in 1960s Montana and stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a man who loses his job at a golf course as a golf course greenskeeper. So instead, he goes off to fight the mountain wildfires, in a sense to maintain his pride and still provide for his family. However, in doing so, this leaves behind his wife, played by Carey Mulligan, to deal with her own insecurities, and it also delves into the toll that it takes on their son, played by Ed Oxenbould. Outstanding, phenomenal performances all around by Gyllenhaal, Mulligan, and Oxenbould. Ed Oxenbould, as some of you may know, was star of Alexander and the No Good, Horrible Day. Terrible, Horrible Day? Something like that. I might be missing a word or two. And he also played the kid in The Visit, M. Night Shyamalan. He's a rising star. Keep him on your radar. Carey Mulligan puts on, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, an Oscar-worthy performance in this movie. It's heartbreaking. Bring some tissues with you when you go see Wildfire. As far as the Oscar nominations go, I think these are going to be sleeper nominations, because this doesn't seem to be a movie that's going to, or it might kick off. I don't know. I shouldn't go into something like that just off the bat. It doesn't seem to be garnering as much attention, I should say, currently, given its very limited release status. But definitely keep Wildfire on your radar. It's directed by Paul Dano, and I was wondering why that name sounds so familiar. He was Paul and Eli Sunday in There Will Be Blood. So, fantastic job by Mr. Dano. Fantastic, outstanding jobs by the cast and crew all around. Wildfire, go check it out. And last but most certainly not least on our Real Rush ticket for episode 7, documentary, Maria by Callas. Now this tells the remarkable true life story of opera singer Maria Callas in her own words via various writings and letters and interviews, performances, home videos. It delves into the strain that her status as an entertainer took on her health, as well as with her relationships, including her relationship with Aristotle Onassis. And like I said, it's just a remarkable true life story altogether. I had never heard of the singer Maria Callas before Cinema Arts posted this movie being shown as a coming soon feature, which is now no longer coming soon. It's now a new release because we saw it newly. And my first instinct thought, as the ending credits rolled, not only did I love this documentary, but Maria Callas deserves her own proper biopic all the way. Maria by Callas. This is also a limited release. It said that it had a release date of 2017, so I'm not exactly sure how old this is. That being said, I'm not sure if this will be eligible for any type of awards coming up soon, but definitely check out Maria by Callas if you're any type of entertainer, such as myself, especially if you are in the singing industry, in the music industry, and most certainly more, what's the word I'm looking for, more even more specific if you're in the opera singing industry, the operatics of music industry. Check out Maria by Callas, y'all. And that is a wrap, ladies and gents. All 8 movies. Did I get through all 8 movies? Let's see here. Let me make sure before we... Grinch, Overlord, Spider's Web, Boy Race, Private War. I did just look at my own fingers to make sure I was counting the right way, yes. Burning, Wildfire, Maria by Callas. 8 movies in one weekend. Maybe that's why I'm a little wired too. So it's the Pepsi and the fact that I just ran through 8 movies in a single weekend, like Superman leaps over tall buildings in a single bound, because that's how I get down, son! So like I said earlier, I have no official pick of the week this week, because every single movie, all 8, count them 8, they're all good in their own right. So heed my advice on each of them, see whichever ones you like, get back to me on what you thought of them, what you like, what you didn't like, and don't be afraid to, if you have any questions or comments on my reviews themselves on these last 7 episodes. We most certainly beat the Chevy Chase show at this point, weeks-wise that is. Don't be afraid to type those on down below on the YouTube page as you're viewing this video. And you're going to want to tune in next week, where we only have half the movies, as far as I know, because this weekend was only supposed to be a 6-movie weekend. It blew up to 8. So yeah, Jadab's going to edit this joint and get some proper Sunday night rest. You'll probably be seeing this on Monday morning, very early. So this will be here to brighten up your Monday. But as I was saying, yet I digress. You most certainly do not want to miss next week's episode, where I will be reviewing Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, Widows, Instant Family, and The Frontrunner. So in the meantime, you're going to want to keep on following your boy J-Dub on Instagram for my movie check-ins as they occur. That's at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. I want to thank everybody for watching my videos and subscribing thus far. Please continue to do so and keep spreading the word of The Real Rush, like everybody should be spreading love these days. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. Enjoy yourselves at the movies. Make sure to keep them lips puckered and cell phones off during the movies. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll see you next weekend!